Is it Saturday yet? Ohio State taking on Grambling State, the HBCU playing in the FBS Division I Conference of College Football, the SWAC as they call it. Excited to come to Columbus and take on the Buckeyes. Ohio State coming off that gigantic matchup and gigantic win against Texas. Really excited to see these two teams get after it. We got a lot for you to go at in this matchup. Make sure you drop a like. All I'll say is this worked last week, so you want to make sure you like the video so Ohio State can beat Grambling this Saturday. Before we get to keys to victory and what to watch for in this matchup between the Buckeyes and the Tigers, a little bit of an injury update for you. Kenyatta Jackson, a good thing to see that he's the only one floating around for Ohio State. It's kind of a weird situation. Ryan Day not saying much about Kenyatta Jackson. We initially thought it was a leg injury when he left during the third quarter of that game. It was later rumored that it was a head injury, but that was later kind of argued a little bit, and Day has not confirmed what the injury actually is, only that Jackson is working to play in the game on Saturday. Look, I think this is an opportunity for Jackson to sit out, get some rest, take some mental reps, be a part of the team on game day, but not do too much in this matchup. So I don't expect Kenyatta Jackson to actually play on Saturday. Let's jump into the keys to victory for Ohio State against Grambling. First things first, let's keep it clean. Got to keep your team locked in. Got to keep your team ready to go for Ryan Day. Yes, you are 1-0. Yes, you are the number one team in the country, but you have a football game on Saturday. You have an opponent that wants to beat you. You have a lot to get done, so stay locked in for Julian Sayin. No interceptions. Keep it clean. Obviously, you're going to do a little more than you did against Texas. We'll get into that more as the show goes on. But again, no interceptions, no bad throws, no mistakes there. For Matt Patricia and the defense, again, keep it clean, right? Effort's got to be there. Easy on the penalties. One guy I'm watching specifically, Davison Igbinosun. A lot of holding penalties last year for the Buckeyes. He's off to a good start, played really, really well against Texas. So I'm hoping he can keep it up and keep it clean against the Tigers on Saturday. 50 points, a 50-piece for Ohio State. What do you think? Can the Buckeyes score over 50 points against Grambling? It's that kind of matchup, so we've got those kind of numbers to look at. Type O if they're going to go over 50 points, or U if they're going to go under 50 points. You got to stop the Tiger offense. Yes, the Grambling State Tigers offense was booming on Saturday. They really, really played well. Taking a look at their offensive day, 55 total points on Saturday. 8 different players scored touchdowns and even 4 passing touchdowns, 4 rushing touchdowns, 55 points. That's the most points they've scored since 2019. They took down Langston 55-7. So Ohio State got to at least pay attention to this offense. If you can shut a team like this down on offense, how are they going to win the game? Defensive touchdowns? Highly doubt it. The Buckeyes actually have something to really, really pay attention to with Grambling. You can't just go by record. You can't just go by ranking. The FCS situation. Look, this is a team that scored 55 points last week. That's how you need to look at it, and that's what you can help your team get to victory by paying attention and stopping that Tiger offense. You got to set goals. I know a lot of people have marked that W for Ohio State already, marked it as a big win, got it going already. Ways to stay competitive, ways to get into it, ways to make sure you win, setting goals. I just have some examples here. I'm sure the team has set their own goals. I'm sure each player has their own goals, but some things I want to see from the Buckeyes on Saturday. I think if these things happen, you win and you get better, right? First half, that should be where you see the starters, and that should be the only place you see the starters. If Davison Igbinosun is playing during the fourth quarter, something's really, really wrong. 40-plus points from the offense, not too much to ask. They have a 44-point difference with similar teams in the past, so they should score at least 40-plus and 10 or less from the defense. If you held Texas to 7, Grambling State really shouldn't get much more than 10, and I'm still thinking less overall in that one. So again, set those goals. Goals will lead to victory. Goals will lead to improvement for Ohio State on Saturday. This episode is brought to you by PrizePicks. You and I make decisions every day, but on PrizePicks, being right can get you paid. Don't miss any of the excitement this season on PrizePicks, where it's good to be right. PrizePicks is simple to play. You just pick more or less on 2 to 6 player stat projections. If you get your picks right, you can cash in. That's because PrizePicks puts their users first, so all withdrawals are fast, safe, and secure. PrizePicks offers Venmo, Apple Pay, MasterCard, and more for quick and easy deposits into your account this football season. PrizePicks also offers injury reboots, so if one of your players leaves the game in the first half and doesn't return, PrizePicks won't count it as a loss. Something you got to look at for tonight. Got to get it in by tonight. CeeDee Lamb, 7.5 touchdowns caught. You want to go more on that one. Breece Hall, less than 924.5 rushing yards. Again, this is over the season, so you want to get that in tonight. And Dak Prescott, more than 23.5 passing touchdowns. Again, get that in tonight. Download the app today and use code CLNS to get $50 in lineups. Do you play your first $5 lineup? That's code CLNS to get $50 in lineups after you play your first $5 lineup. PrizePicks, it is good to be right. What to watch for in this one? You got to tune in for certain things in games like this. First things first, improvement overall for the Ohio State Buckeyes. 2 weeks. That's how much Ohio State devoted to being ready for Texas. They spent 2 weeks, what is essentially their training camp, what is essentially their get ready for the entire season, they spent on one team, and that's done. You beat Texas, you took care of Texas, you can have pride in that win, but now you need to get down to business of getting better, getting ready for a season, putting in new things on offense, trying new things on defense, switching players around. Have to make sure your team is getting better in a game like this. Can't just write it off as a victory, stay healthy, and move on. No, you got to improve, whether it be new schemes, whether it be, as I said, new players getting an opportunity, which we'll get to in just a second. I was amazed by Ryan Day saying that the Buckeyes were going to devote 2 whole weeks to one matchup. I mean, you had to, right? And you took care of business, took down Texas. Now you want to see the team improve overall. I'm actually excited to see that because you do need those ramp-up games, those tune-up games. I think Grambling is a really, really good example of that, and I want to see it on Saturday, and I'll be specifically watching for it. Do you start hot, right? Are guys dropping passes to start the game? Does your quarterback look more comfortable? Does your offensive line look more comfortable? Again, you can just write this game off as a win if you want. I think a lot of people are, but I think there's still things to watch in a matchup like this. All right, one thing I'll also be watching for on Saturday, who scores the first touchdown for the Buckeyes? If I had asked you a week ago, I don't know how many people would have said C.J. Donaldson. Let's fast forward a week. I want to hear from you guys. Who do you think scores the first touchdown for Ohio State? All right, we've been kind of hinting at this all show. There's got to be playing time adjustments. Something's got to be a little bit different in this one. And I've got some players that I'm looking at specifically because that's what an opportunity is there for with Grambling, right? Whether it be 2 more plays overall, 2 more carries, couple more passes, couple more sets, 1 whole quarter. There's going to be different players getting different opportunities, some more important than others, could mean more throughout the season. Some could just be for this week to look fresh, to look good. I think Lincoln Keenholz is an example we won't talk too much about, but hey, I think you're going to get a real look at Lincoln Keenholz in this one. Another guy specifically, though, that I want to talk about is James Peoples. If you watched my reaction after Ohio State and Texas, I pleaded with everyone, hang in there with James Peoples. I know he didn't play great against Texas, only 10 carries for 20 yards, no touchdowns, and the Buckeyes were forced to go with Donaldson over James Peoples. This is a great opportunity for Peoples, who just wasn't the running back you needed on Saturday, not just with his play, but the style of play from Texas. He's not a between-the-tackles runner. He's not bouncing off tackles, physical runner. Finesse, quickness, speed. Think he's going to get to use that a little more against Grambling. Another guy. Did you see C.J. Hicks on the final play that Texas ran offensively? Yes, he was the one dragging Arch Manning to the ground as he kind of threw it away, and Caleb Downs ends up getting the stop. Hicks is a guy I really want to see more of early so I can know what he means to this team late. He was the only defensive end not to play 30 snaps for the Buckeyes. He had 19, so didn't even get to that 20 mark either. This is an opportunity for CJ Hicks to show consistency for the Buckeyes, to show the Buckeyes they can lean on him in the future. Look, because when he got to Ohio State, boy, was he highly ranked. Boy, was he highly touted. Much excitement there from the defensive staff to get him involved. He was initially a linebacker. You're now to the point where you've switched positions to try and make the most out of him, to get the most out of him, and let him contribute to the defense. I'm excited for CJ Hicks. Again, it's all about consistency with him. I really hope he can put it together and become what they hoped he could be when they recruited him in the class of 2022. He's an Ohio kid. I think he's shown flashes. Hope we get more of CJ Hicks on Saturday to show us that he can play more in the future. Another guy we need to talk a little bit about, highly touted. Devin Sanchez, the 5-star corner, number 1 corner in the class of 2025. Big-time recruit. Very excited that he got snaps against Texas on Saturday. 11 snaps. He played against Texas. He's 18 years old. Hasn't really done anything in college football. Game 1 gets to play against Texas. Not many of the corners got a ton of snaps, so Sanchez jumping the line as a 5-star. I think he has Jeremiah Smith potential on defense. Problem is you're so loaded at corner. Sanchez really just not going to get that opportunity to start or have major impact. I think that's why reps like the Grambling game are going to be really, really important for a guy like Devin Sanchez. Keep an eye on him because I think he could really start an upward trajectory. It's score time. Prediction time with the score between Ohio State and Grambling. We were already mentioning 50-ish earlier. Hey, if that's in your score prediction, go ahead and leave it down below. More offense, defense, special teams, different players, coaching, playbook. I want more of everything in this one. I think the game plan against Texas was go conservative, and I respect it, mainly because it got you the win. But that's what it was going to take to beat Texas. That's what it took for Julian Sayin to kind of grow some confidence. That's what it took for the defense, to get it done against Texas and keep in control at times. Let's open this bad boy up. Let's really get this thing going, especially on offense. I need more, especially Julian Sayin. Give him some opportunities. Let him do more. Run more for James Peoples, who you didn't get enough of. We already talked about that one. Defensively, we talked about how you're going to see Caleb Downs blitz. Didn't see a ton of it against Texas. I'd love to see it Saturday. More. Keep an eye out for what the Buckeyes really open things up to against Grambling State. And we will have more for you on Saturday. Our watch parties continue. Make sure you subscribe. We'll be live Saturday an hour before the game. We had a really, really good time against Texas. We expect to do the exact same thing against Grambling, so be sure to subscribe. I asked you for your score prediction. Now I give you mine. I've got the Buckeyes winning. I don't know if there was ever a doubt for me or for you, but Ohio State 48, Grambling 7. I have the starters putting up 24, second unit putting up 24, and the defense putting up a damn good day.